Namaste. Good day, friends. We are going through a serious health crisis all over the world, and it has prompted me to share my knowledge on how to cure flu and cold in 24 hours, which I have done around 12 to 14 times since 2004. And once I felt lazy, I suffered for 9 days. So, the key to my recovery is early detection, and the early detection is more possible if you are leading a yogic way of life where you are more tuned to your body energies. So, I'm very sensitive to infection, and also my autoimmune system is very compromised because I became very sick taking care of my son when he was 3.5 years old in 96. He fell down from second floor in India and lost almost 40% brain from three places. And besides the surgeries, no recovery was predicted by any doctors and the medical sciences then. And doctors till Stanford, many of them over the time, were disproven by their prognosis. I refuse to take their answer as the final answer. And I did many things to recover my son. So, with having a high tech job where I needed to work 12 to 17 hours, 14 to 17 hours many times, and he needed my good 4 5 hours every day, and weekends were more busier than the weekdays. So, I became very sick. And but I learned a lot, and I want to share my knowledge. So, this book is available on Amazon. It is called How to Cure Flu and Cold in 24 Hours. And sometimes I have cured within 2 hours, half an hour, because of the sheer early detection. Now, in case of coronavirus, the early detection is not possible. You are going to have 2 weeks of incubation period before you show any signs. So you can still use this method, assuming you are infected. And wherever you feel the chances of infection are high, like you cross a person or you with a person, go into your private space, like a toilet or bathroom or corner, and do these things which I'm telling you. And if you cannot do it, at least, like when you do this, at least, make sure that you have oxygen rich environment, like you go near the trees, make sure your house is well circulated. You don't want the same bacteria and viruses recirculating in the air. So with this said, I want to come to the topic, and before I go further, I wish I get infected, or I'm willing to test myself with this approach, that where I get infected and I know that I have been infected, I will start my procedure to self cure, and most likely I'm very sure that I will be okay. So I don't know, my family will let me do it because I'm still recovering. I had my third heart attack, and I had a bypass surgery, and like good part of my heart is damaged, but I still feel very young and energetic after going through hell. And, you know, but for the sake of science and humanity, I'm willing to do this experiment. So, with that further ado, I would like to start. So, what is infection? So, infection is linked with acidity and inflammation, and I'll prove it by these 3 points. Suppose you do over workout, and next day and next few days your muscles will be very sore and painful because of excess of lactic acid buildup in your system. And lactic acid is built up because the heart cannot keep up with the demand of the exercise, of burning more calories by supplying extra oxygen and nutrition. So, in the similar way, when you are sick, your body is sore and you have a lot of pain all over your body. That is another sign that you are sick and you have acidity because of extra microbes and infection in your body. And how do you prove this? That in your stomach, you have a very high acidic environment where you have lot of bacteria and viruses, billions of them, and it is called the second brain of your body. And don't confuse with acidity, because acidity is rise in acidity beyond the tolerance level of the stomach, which is already acidic. So, with these three validations that there is a correlation between acidity, between infection, and illness. So, how do you cure? So, and the cure, there are two parts. One part is, you know, cutting down the supply chain of explosion of viruses and bacteria in your body. And the largest part is in your lungs, where they are multiplying very fast. So lungs is the largest surface area of your body after skin or next to the skin. And when you are infected, they are multiplying there in this, moisture-rich or fluid medium. So when you want to take off the paint from the wall, the painters, they will blast the wall with high pressure air. And in the old days, when they will clean the teeth, the dentist will blast with high pressure air. And nowadays they do with ultrasound, and there's a correlation between sound and ultrasound, a high pitch frequency. The more pressure you have and more rapidly you change the pressure, the sound is created. So when you are doing this intense kapal bhati called, you know, or bhastrika, they are pranayamas, or even coughing, or even any aerobic exercise, or even jogging, dancing. You are faking an artificial cough. What you're going to do is you're going to create this high pressure air exchange in your lungs, and it is like a tornado or a typhoon storm in your lungs sticking to your tongue. The more intense you do it, the lesser are the chances of they surviving sticking to the wall of inner linings of the lung. So when you do this intense coughing is like a cure, but here you do artificial coughing like a precursor before infection. So you do this, artificial coughing, and you do this intense kapal bhati or intense bhastrika or intense jogging or aerobic dances, you are doing this breathing, which even deep breathing and doing rich oxygen breathing under tree should help. So best I have tried is with bhastrika and kapal bhati, and those who cannot do it should do artificial coughing as often as you come across somebody, and go to their private space and do it. Do jogging and exercise, aerobic exercises build up your immunity also. So this is the first line of cure. The second line of cure is basically how to make your body alkaline and not let it be acidic, where the viruses and bacteria will increase. So when you do this aerobic exercises and bhastrika and kapal bhati, you are increasing oxygen level in your body, and the osmotic pressure of oxygen interchange is at a high pressure. And so there are two benefits. Increased oxygen will make the body more alkaline and hostile to the bacteria and viruses. And there's an increased osmotic pressure through the arteries and the veins, and it's like a blasting, like an angioplasty, like and it knocks off those guys in the inner linings, and that's the remaining half of the battle. So when you're doing this intense kapal bhati or bhastrika, Yogis can feel each cell sometimes dancing to the energy, increased energy. And the osmotic pressure increases because of this extra pressure bellowed through the lungs. So osmosis is basically an exchange of chemicals in a what do you call, in a membrane, a porous membrane. So what happens from side A to side B? The high density chemical goes to the lower density, and vice versa. So where the both the sides, the density will become equal for both the sides of the chemicals. So when you're doing this Bhastrika or this Kapal Bhati, you will basically increase your osmotic pressure, and it will blast through your arteries and veins. And this is the secret why a lot of toxins are moved from the skin, and this is why a lot of yogis, the face shines. So that's the internal glow. So you want to learn pranayama, kapal bhati, it's too late to do bhastrika, it takes time. Go and watch Baba Ramdev's videos. And in basically pranayama is basically done through that diaphragmatic breathing. And I have heard that coronavirus is not infecting babies. And one reason could be, besides the high immunity, could be that they cry a lot. And crying is like coughing and like, blowing your lungs out. So that again validates. So, what is the scientific validity of my approach? The scientific validity of my approach is that the research shows people who do a lot of aerobic exercises, besides the immunity is high, they fall less sick. And if they fall sick, they recover faster. This is what the science is saying. So, this is along the lines of science. And, you know, I would like to volunteer myself in the name of humanity and science to be infected by this virus. I haven't told my family, and my daughter is very sensitive to this because she gets more upset with my bad health. But I'm ready to volunteer and try out this approach. And because I know that I'm infected, I will trigger my cure, and I'm sure I'll be fine. So, with this, there's one thing more I will tell you about, pranayama kapal bhati. What you do is you take the stomach in, and the air should come out. And when you make the stomach big, the air should go in. So just think that Boyle's law, PV is equal to RT. So when pressure goes up, volume goes less, and when volume goes up, the pressure goes. So when the pressure goes up, volume goes small, and when the volume goes big, the pressure goes low. And the diaphragm, what happens when the stomach goes big, the diaphragm is expanded down. And when the stomach goes smaller, the diaphragm is squeezed up, pushed up. And nature has given humans 5 levers like a stick shift car to control different levels of breathing. The biggest gear is the diaphragm, second is the chest, third is the clavicle bones. You raise your bones and the volume goes up and the air will go in, and yogis can feel it. The fourth is the thoracic muscles, and the fifth muscle is the nasal muscles. So I don't expect you to become overnight yogis to do this cure, but do artificial coughing, do jogging, and learn kapal bhati. And again, good luck. And again, any doubters, I'm willing to risk myself and get tested, like get infected, and I will do my cure knowing that I've been infected. I will not wait for 2 weeks because waiting for 2 weeks is risky. So, again, anytime you feel, the more periodically you will do it, the more intensity you will do it, you will be cured. And good luck. Namaste. Take care. Have a good health and long life.